My name's Simon. I'm probably the best looking person here, just so you're all aware. And yeah, and of course, the most humble. That goes without saying. Unfortunately, not the tallest. Yeah. Um, Hopefully, I can go to China, get my kneecaps broken, and Anyway, so I own a printing company in the UK. We have a litho factory, a digital factory, and a wide format factory. In a nutshell, we used to have a label factory too. So generally got a good sense of all things print. And here today, I'm going to pivot slightly away from what Paul talked about, which was like, let's call it the external version or the external top layer of the AI estimator. And I'm just going to talk to you about what I've seen, how we've implemented the cultural changes that we've seen by implementing the AI estimator. And hopefully, I'm assuming it's the next button, but little agenda or questions to answer. So I'm going to talk about what we use the AI estimator for today, how estimating's changed, the results we've seen, and that's the one he's removed. How I would like to see what I would like to see tomorrow. See, he didn't notice that, did he? So, but you can take that as my development want list, just to be clear. Okay, so in 2025 February, was it Fisker Shabil? Yeah, I'm not going to pretend I could pronounce it. Yeah, it's close enough. One of my presentations was about this, and it was basically just the history of print from my interpretation of the history of print. And I'm sure there's lots of different stages and so on and so forth, and I'm not here to argue that. Please don't argue with me later either about it, because I don't really care. Little summary of market events I talked about, which was the XL 106, the top litho press existed, and the companies that dived in and the companies that didn't, and the consolidation and fallout that you saw of the companies that didn't dive in to a press that was making ready in, under 5 minutes instead of 35 minutes, and so on and so forth, printing at 18,000 an hour instead of 12,000 an hour, and so on, so on and so forth. And then the next trend was digital. So digital starts and people start investing in digital. You might have all started with a Next Press or a Konica Minolta or, something very small and dingy. And then POD arrives. So print on demand, photo books, calendars, etc., etc. Digital then really starts to ramp up. Market consolidation that we start seeing, and I think we saw that just after COVID. AI cost savings, because that's where I originally thought it would be, and now AI growth. So in my little brain, we have, as ESP, dived in all those situations. And as market trends have continued, whether it's becoming masters at litho, entering digital, entering print on demand, entering digital in a proper way, not just a token Konica Minolta sat in the corner. The companies that generally wait, like Henrik said on his presentation, are the companies that generally die. And that is how life works. And it's because the world is not perfect. And I think everyone seems to wait around for perfection, thinking that they want to buy something that's perfect for them. But the world isn't perfect. And generally, if you wait for it to be, you will just die as a company. That's generally how it works. The amazing entrepreneurs of our lifetime at the moment, like Elon Musk and Sam Altman and so on and so forth, they don't wait for anything. That's not how it works. And if you wait, whether you wait for the AI estimator to be perfect or whatever you wait for, just good luck. So what we use it for today? And I just realized I could just look down here. So fundamentally, look, it started off as an estimating system to create instant estimates, okay? Digital, litho, large format, okay? That's fundamentally what it started off, or the idea started off. How can we do this quicker? I think generally the idea was, and as Paul says, simpler, etc. What it's starting to become, and this is the compounding effect with, as you start implementing software and AI software, and start coming up with better ideas of how to utilize it, as I said, things start to compound. And the AI estimator, it starts to become, or has become, let's call it our commercial layer of our business, our entry point prior to the MIS entry. So as Henrik said, 50% of an MIS is the complication of estimating. So the AI estimator has become a layer, the layer that sits over the business like a hat over a person's head before it enters the brain. And so we're using it for internal use, external use, which Paul touched on pretty much just a minute ago. We're using it for all our technical knowledge. We're using it for all of our margin control, and we're using it is essentially now our print Bible. I've got some random stuff in there, like what's ESP's VAT number? What's ESP Color's bank account details? How do I find tracking, DHL tracking and so on and so forth? And then I've put in lots of really funny things like who's the strongest person in ESP and stuff like that. So, um, but ultimately, you can kind of put in what you want and give it a vast array of knowledge, not just about print, about your processes, bank account numbers. Maybe it's a common theme. What's our bank account number? Et cetera, et cetera. What's our VAT number? And that has like huge impacts on the business and ultimately starts to fundamentally change how your business operates, which I'll go into in a minute. So internal, this is kind of the results that we're seeing, internal use of the AI estimator. So on average, we are taking across all of the complexities of print, on average at the moment, 1 minute and 3 seconds. And I'm pretty obsessive on this. There's a little dashboard for anyone that has the AI estimator. And it shows how long an estimate has been created and the amount of interactions that your staff would have had with it. And I'm just a bit anal that I want them to have no interactions, i.e. only one, and it to be as quickly as possible. So over time, you can set yourself like little targets to get that down to like, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it might be. 415 estimates per week. So that is increasing to 800 because we still have some stuff to migrate across, but we're doing 415 estimates per week. He's updated that because I put 400. So, yeah, I like that. Or maybe I just forgot what I put on there. It's because he's probably looked at my data. 2 people removed. So that's I'll go into how it's changed our culture properly, but ultimately 2 estimators removed from the business. Just, it's not like Henrik said, it's not nice, but it's life. And that's what ours looks like internally when you like the pick screen. And I just thought I'd put it in there because I'm not sure if anyone's actually, some of you people might not have actually seen it. I assume if you've never bought it, you've not seen it. Just to be clear as well, it would take us about 15 to 20 minutes to do a normal estimate for the AI estimator. That is on 400 estimates, 12,000 minutes. Someone please check my maths here, but thinks about 12,000 minutes. And I think it's a vaguely, that's vaguely 11,600 minutes per week saved, essentially. So if you've got a lot of estimates, that's a lot of savings that you can have. So that's our version of what ours looks a lot better, just to be clear. That's what the AI estimator controls and enables. And I think it's just going to continue on. So essentially it's controlling internal, it's controlling external. And as Henrik and Pradeep talked about and Paul, these externals can be, ultimately anything. And you can have, I suppose, an infinite number of them. So how has estimating changed in our business? So we have seen a fundamental structural change in estimating. We don't really have core estimators now. It's funny, we've got our procurement manager for our digital factory called James. And he was like, why is James estimating? I was like, well, because he can, I suppose. So fundamentally, it's really changed. The estimating dynamics and our margin control, okay? Those are the 2 fundamental things it's changed. So it's changed 2 estimates. So we used to be a typical business. We would have structured people that estimate, structured people that sell, structured people that do customer service, etc., etc. Like in a very structured manner, like the piece of paper gets passed down the line, doesn't it? It's not really like that anymore. Anyone estimates, and ultimately what we aim for now is whoever has the closest relationship with the customer estimates, because they're the people that are more likely going to win the job. Relationships still count for a hell of a lot in business, and we generally now push whoever has the closest relationship to estimate for the job. So whether that's the sales, like I had a sales guy that only started in April last year, and we've won Howdens for large format. And yeah, he was just doing all the Howden quotes, came in. Usually that would take, and large format's a complicated beast to quote, right? Because it's oversized stuff. You got massive pallets, blah, blah, blah. That would usually take him like a couple of hours. It was 10 estimates, a couple of hours to estimate. And I mean, it took him like literally like 5 or 10 minutes. So, it's changed the whole process, because then he can get engagement back. He can make decisions himself. He's more likely to convert it if something falls back. How they estimate, I mean, they literally screen grab, copy paste, type it in, they upload Excel spreadsheet. It's very, very quick and simple. Skill of estimator, you don't. If salespeople could estimate, then the requirement is very low, very, very low. And that changes the whole dynamics, because we do have people in our business that are close to retirement, that have always been the master keepers of knowledge. And I'm sure everyone has those people in their businesses. So that skill set is gone. And speed. I think I'll go on some conversion ratios in a minute, in terms of our sales uptick and so on and so forth. But I think fundamentally that's probably been the biggest impact. If you're quoting a £50 or £100 job and you get back someone within a minute, I'm pretty sure they're not going to go out to 3 different print companies to find a price for a £100 job. Like, that would just be ridiculous. So I think generally speaking, there's a value where buyers won't even go out anywhere else. They'll just go, he's come back to me, looks about right, crack on. So I think that's been a really important impactor, is speed of estimate. Margin control, first time right pricing. I was just speaking to Spencer. Sorry, Spencer. And he's got 3 different systems, I think you said. Ooh, don't lean on that. Got 3 different systems and different pricing mechanisms for different systems. Sorry to put you on the spot here. And we've only got one system before Gelato, and between estimator to estimator, it still wouldn't be the same. So if I gave Steve Watson, one of our sales guys, an estimate, and I did it, we both output a different price on the estimate. So, and that's with one estimating system. That doesn't happen anymore. It is first time for type it in and it outputs, whether it's me or Steve or Spencer. So that is very powerful, because I can imagine so many times. You mentioned it earlier on over here somewhere about 60% uplift. So many times you've had a customer come back to you and go, hang on, that's not what it was before. And you'd be like, oh yeah, okay. Digging in deep into margin control. So you can dig in super deep. You can go absolutely crazy with your margins. So we've got running by quantity, page count, product type, customer, all different margin sets, whether it's hardcover, whether it's soft cover, whether you want a printed end paper, etc. You can control your margins to the nth degree. And consistent of that estimates, no matter who estimates. No matter whether it's me, a salesperson, James from procurement, you get it right first time. All the margins are controlled in the rules, and the estimates are consistent. So the results we've seen, hardcore growth results. So we kicked off in week 28 of 2025. So this is week 28 to week 52. So what we saw in our digital, commercial digital, where we use it, we had 9.4% sales growth. We had 10.6 added value growth. And year to date in 2026, we've got a lot better at margin control. The systems, as Paul's mentioned, has got more cleverer. So currently we're on 12.5% sales growth and 19% added value growth. And these growth factors, we compare week to week. So 2025 versus 2026, or in 2025's case, week 2025 versus 2024. And these are the growth factors that we are having. And it is exclusively digital. And we track it. We tracked it before the AI estimator and after. It's just a normal business thing that we track. And why do I think that is? Like I said, speed of response, consistency of estimating, deep margin control. Like I said, I think 2026 is better, not because the economy's got better or we've won more customers. I think we've just got better at margin control. and accountability and relationship. Like I said, salespeople in general, or whoever's got the relationship, able to close that estimate down is much more convenient than some faceless estimating at espcolor.co.uk. Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, that's all I've got. So that's the objective. For me, I don't want to see an ESP member of staff touch 80% of all my estimates. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, because then I can just have like loads of screens up of stuff happening and have no employees. That would be my ideal situation. Thank you.
Yeah. Simon, just a couple of questions. So when I called you with that horrible coverage, and apologies for disturbing you with your daughter there, I tend to call on weekends because I work 24/7. But you said to me, and I quote, that what you're describing now is the holy grail of this industry.
Yeah, that's every printer in the world. I am sure you've all been disgruntled at times where you've produced a photo book for £4 or a T-shirt for £2, and your customer is selling it for £40 or £30. I'm sure if you're in that market, at some point, every one of you have gone, only if we could sell it for £30, we'd be millionaires. And essentially what Gelato has given you is that the ability to do that. And not just that, but we talk about, I don't think it's really made a big enough thing about every website that exists online that prices print is basically a massive database or Excel spreadsheet with prices from 1 to whatever, 10,000. And this is not that. It is literally, I think it is I was going to say this earlier on, it is the world's first e-commerce website where you can price anything you can produce. In the world today, before literally this week, that did not exist because the trade prints, the Vista prints, the sim presses, whatever, whoever online business is all, static pricing. It is the first online website to achieve that. And I just think there is something magical in there that I think that you can probably capture. So that was it.
And then one more question. When we're now going in this next path of growth, which basically is we take your webpage, we marry it with the AI estimator, and then you worked with Sven and Styrbjörn to build up this marketing kind of landscape. You mentioned, and Sven told me this, and Styrbjörn, that you wanted to go all UK.
100%. Yeah, I was gonna. When you said that earlier on, I don't care about one part. I just want the whole of the UK.
Yeah, but so that's before you saw the cost per click. If you go all UK,
we'll expand out slowly.
Yeah, but what's your when you think about this next growth phase? Let's say the coming 2-3 months. What are your ambitions with that?
So I want to have a huge jump in sales associated to it. So I would love for it to be like, if I say a number, then he has to achieve it. So like,
absolutely, go
29-30% growth in digital, I think would be epic through basically online consumer or SME driven business through marketing and through the website essentially. The website's pretty much done from a usability point of view. It'll just be the marketing there onwards. And, I want to enter. I think the world of print is consolidating really quickly, like hugely. In the UK, it is. I know in Germany, in lots of countries, the world or the printers, there are less of us. Year by year that goes by, less and less and less and less. And as time goes on, printers need to take ownership of their own market and they need to own their whole supply chain, whether it's online or offline production of print. And I think it's the only way that printers will continue to grow and flourish, or one of the ways, should I say. So I think this gives us that ability to do that.
And I'd like to hear also what Jesper are thinking around this, because we've worked together with Paul, with Simon, with Jesper. So interesting to get your perspective. But 290%, 300% growth, you said, or
30% growth of up at that. Yeah,
okay,
30% growth.
okay.
I'll take
So
those.
300% growth.
Yeah, okay.
I honestly,
I would definitely need some more machines then.
So I was going to come to that. I actually believe that the growth potential lying around in all your countries, in all your cities, is beyond anything you can imagine.
100%.
The reason why we're not capturing it is because the combination of GelatoConnect managing procurement workflow and logistics, the AI estimator, and then StoreLink has not existed. But imagine the amount of searches that are done in New York City, for example, every single day. Like, it's hundreds and thousands, but they fall empty because the industry has not brought the capabilities of beautiful interfaces, rapid response time, and ease of production. So I think we're now at that stage where we bring all of those things together. And when we meet next time, I think we're going to present some really interesting growth data, and also customer satisfaction, which we don't speak enough about in this
Yeah,
industry.
100%. Yeah. I'll settle for 29%, just,
290% it is. So Jesper, from your perspective, when you see this presentation, when you hear Simon's reflections, comments, view of the future, what are your thoughts? And perhaps you can just stand up so everyone sees you. And
Just not next to me because you're tall as well.
I'm just aligned. I'm 100% aligned, and I'm aiming for 290% in growth. And I hear a lot of talk about the cost. To me, this is a growth opportunity.
Yeah.
If you don't want to grow, don't enter it.
I see this as a salesperson. So we pay our salespeople like it varies, right? But anywhere between about 60 to £100,000 a year, we would pay a salesperson. I mean, it doesn't cost that. So I just see it as essentially there's four ways you grow in business, right? It is like salespeople, it's marketing, as in free marketing, like business awareness, let's call it, marketing, paid for marketing, and there's another way, but I can't remember. In a nutshell, we only ever do in our industry one way, which is salespeople. We never seem to do all the other stuff that go with it. And this is one of the other things. So instead of employing a salesperson, I'm basically just doing this instead.
And I see the potential of grabbing your hand, going with you, using your marketing division as a local producer, instead of printing in Germany, whatever some people do in Gothenburg as right now. We will win those cases with the local production and all that marketing there is with Gelato. Marketing knowledge, there's so much opportunities. I see that.
how has it been to work with, you worked with Sven on marketing, or?
Yeah, actually, we built a site like you have. Ours is the best looking one so far. No, Sven, of course, I understood right away. He knows what he's doing. So we haven't really launched the marketing part yet, but we will do in a couple of days. I built the site, and that's why I was late this morning. I just couldn't jump off it. I wanted to stay on the building. It's a fun part, but it's going to be super great. And I understand Sven, when he discussed the marketing part, it's going to be awesome.
Can I tell you my marketing discussion with Sven? Here's my credit card, Sven. Please do my marketing. Yeah, he's obviously a super skillful chap, been doing it for a very long period of time and knows a lot more than me.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't say this, but I will anyway. So when we started out, I did assessments of everyone, and we still do, but less so granular as we did. But Sven was the first person after 5 years that applied. So we didn't have anyone applying, so it was hard to hire anyone. But they called from the assessment company and said, listen, we don't know where his IQ stops, but we couldn't measure after 140. So that is Sven. So Sven is not only a kind person, but he is so knowledgeable, and you working with him in our AI marketing engine, coupled with this, it's super exciting to see where we will be 6 months from today when we meet again.